Hello, my name is Elizabeth Davis, and I'm a therapist that specializes in anxiety. And what I'm going to talk to you about are some of the basics as we look forward to working on these issues together. Individuals who struggle with anxiety, whether it's in the form of generalized anxiety, social phobia, panic disorder, agoraphobia, or trauma, often struggle with the inability to control their physiology. We know that anxiety impacts both mind and body. And for most people experiencing anxiety or trauma, what's most unsettling is the lack of ability to control your physiology. Clients come in and they've tried a variety of things to soothe themselves with no luck. And so what we're looking at today is something that I hope will offer you hope today. It is the brain. And most neuroscientists that discuss the brain will talk about a three-part brain, but I'm going to go into an expanded version, into the four-part brain, to help you understand some of what may be going on in your world right now. The human brain is comprised, starting at the very bottom, with the reptilian brain or brainstem. This is the oldest piece of equipment in the brain, and it is what's responsible for keeping our vegetative state going, surviving, and it also has impact on our mobility in a 3D world. What sits on top of that part of the brain is the mammalian brain, or the limbic system, often referred to as the midbrain. And this is where most of our emotions are housed. One of the differences between mammals and reptiles is that we socially affiliate. You're not likely to see a reptile or a group of reptiles sing their young a lullaby or throw a block party. They just simply do not have the equipment. If we were to dissect a reptile, we would see an intact brainstem and just a little bit of an evolutionary nub of a limbic system. Now, when it comes to anxiety, anxiety sits very close to the brainstem. It is one of the most primitive emotions. So that gives you a clue as to some of the dilemma that we have when we treat anxiety, panic, or trauma. The next piece of the brain is the cortex. And this is the piece of the brain that you often see in images if you Google the brain. It's the wrinkly outer core. What's interesting about the cortex is that it looks a lot like the intestines. This part of the brain is responsible for language and different thinking abilities. So one of the things that you can reflect on is, have you ever seen a cat do a crossword puzzle or a dog do homework? Chances are you've never seen this happen because what those mammals lack is a cortex. So the last piece is the frontal lobe. And this diagram, I've positioned it such that the face, the eyes, and the nose are on the left side. So the prefrontal lobe would be right between and behind the eyes. And I've got some imagery there that shows that ancient Rome put a laurel wreath around it. In Eastern India, some cultures will dot it. And monarchs, even today, will crown that prefrontal lobe. And this is the part of the brain that's responsible for executive functioning, for pros and cons, weighing options, morality, and a lot of evidence suggests that personality is there. So, if you look, you will see the 4 different parts of the brain. And so I'll ask you, have you ever heard of a group of gorillas in the jungle calling for a meeting, discussing what rights they want to form a Bill of Rights, or outweighing pros and cons in different behaviors? And you're not going to see that because primates lack that prefrontal lobe. So you've got an elementary understanding of the different pieces of the brain. So if you're out there and you struggle with anxiety, the part of the brain that is very sensitive, that may be misfiring, is the amygdala. And the amygdala is very close to the brainstem and very low in the limbic system. This is the part of the brain outside of the areas of language, pros and cons thinking, rational thought. This is what makes anxiety, panic, and trauma so difficult, and why there's so much suffering is because the origins and the physical effect are outside of your cognitive cortex or prefrontal lobe's ability to manage. So in therapy together, we will partner with physicians to help the amygdala to calm and rest, to not misfire. We'll work with physiology and exercise, and we'll work with ways to de-escalate anxiety and stress, and how to help an overactive amygdala. I look forward to working with you.